What's good, everyone? Welcome back to the channel, and today we're diving deep into what might be the most important arc in Blue Lock history, the U-20 World Cup. With Chapter 308 confirming Japan's group stage opponents and the tournament structure, I thought it's time we break down exactly how this whole thing is going to play out, and it's going to be fucking brutal for our boys. If you're new here, smash that subscribe button and hit the bell icon because we've got some wild predictions coming your way. So let's start with the basics. What exactly is the U-20 World Cup and how does it work? In the real world, the FIFA U-20 World Cup is a biennial tournament, which means that it is held every 2 years featuring 24 countries, and Blue Lock is sticking pretty close to this format. The 24 teams get divided into 6 groups of 4 teams each, and the top 2 teams from each group automatically advance to the knockout rounds, plus the 4 best third-place teams. That gives us 16 teams total moving on to the single elimination knockout stage. But here's where Blue Lock puts its own spin on things. While the standard roster size is 23 players, they've expanded it to 26 for this tournament, and we already know Baritsuda got his hands on those 3 extra slots. One for Sei, though he's only playing after group stage, one that Nagi declined, and one mystery slot that I'm still convinced is going to Kira. Some of you actually think it's going to be Naruhaya, but I think you need to smoke a little less of that deep shit you're taking. Now let's talk about Japan's group, because holy shit did they get a death group. Japan's facing off against Nigeria, England, and France, and each of these teams brings something completely different to the table. This isn't going to be some easy cruise to the knockout rounds. Let's start with France, because they're clearly the favorites to top this group. They've got Julian, Loki, and Charles Chevalier. We all saw what they were capable of in the Neo-Egoist League, and France is generally one of the fiercest teams in the world, so the other 9 players will probably be at a similar level. Loki in particular is a master striker with incredible speed and goal-scoring ability, the kind of player who can single-handedly decide games. I don't know who could stop him either. Maybe Raichi will come and take him out for the whole tournament by injuring him pretty badly. England's going to bring that classic English physicality and organization. While we don't have specific details about their roster yet, you know they're going to have at least one new generation world name player, probably someone who can match the physicality of players like Kunigami or Barrow. England's always been strong at youth level football, and they'll likely play a more direct style. Lots of crosses, set pieces, and using their physical advantage to bully smaller technical players. This could actually be a nightmare matchup for some of the Blue Lock kids who rely more on finesse than power. And then there's Nigeria. Now, I'm not trying to disrespect Nigeria as a football nation. They've actually reached the U-20 World Cup finals twice in real life and have produced some incredible talents. But from a manga narrative perspective, they're probably going to be portrayed as the weakest team in the group. That doesn't mean they'll be pushovers, though. Nigeria typically brings incredible athleticism, pace, and that unpredictable African flair that can catch teams off guard. They'll probably be the team that gives Japan their biggest scare through pure physical intimidation. So how's this group stage going to play out? I'm calling it right now. France finishes first, Japan squeaks through in second place, England takes third and probably advances as one of the best third place teams, and Nigeria goes home early. But here's the thing, Japan's path to second place is going to be absolutely brutal. I think Japan's going to struggle early. Their first game is probably against Nigeria, and the Blue Lock kids are going to get a reality check about international football. Nigeria's physicality and pace could cause serious problems for Japan's more technical approach. Then comes England, and this is where things get really interesting. England's going to try to outmuscle Japan. You might think that England will be physically superior to the kids from Blue Lock, but we saw from Chapter 305 that Ego has given some of the players special training. Baru in an American football team, Nico classic weight training, Raichi some wrestling shit, and I think we'll see that the training will pay off and Nico will run the 1.90 tall central defender with a full beard and 3 kids into the ground. The game against France will be the toughest. I think France will come in first and run the Blue Lock team into the ground. Maybe not 6-0, but that it will be a bit more one-sided, just to show them that France with Loki, Charles, and the other 9 will just be too much currently. I think they'll have a player from the new generation D there, and then it's as good as over, because without Sei against Loki, Charles, and a player from the new gen, nah man, that shit is done. And as I said, it's not like France just have these 2 to 3 one-trick ponies. They're maybe the best football team in the world with Spain, so I think everyone in this team will be a fucking monster. But here's my prediction for how Japan advances. They're going to need a last-minute miracle. I'm talking 89th minute, Japan down by 1, everyone thinking they're eliminated, and then someone, Nagi or Kira, who will show that teamwork is also possible, will then score the decisive goal scores, an absolute screamer to send them through. Assuming Japan makes it out of the group stage, and let's be real, they have to for narrative purposes, the knockout rounds are where things get really spicy. Based on the tournament structure, Japan would likely face one of the group winners because there's no way that they will finish as the first place in the group in the round of 16. This could be anyone from Brazil to Argentina to Germany, teams with serious pedigree and players who've been groomed for international success since they were kids. But the matchup everyone's waiting for is Japan versus Spain in what I'm predicting will be the semifinal. This is where the real drama happens. Spain's got Bunny Iglesias, who's a new generation World 11 player, meaning he's literally one of the best young talents in the world. Plus, this is where Seiya's story comes full circle. He specifically said he wants to play against Spain. What is also possible is that Japan will actually make it to the final and France will be kicked out by Spain in the semifinal, and Spain will then beat Japan in the final. But I don't think Blue Lock is at that level yet. Imagine the psychological warfare in that game. Sei against Bunny, the one who destroyed him mentally and as it looks like also physically, like Sei was his bitch at some point, maybe in the showers after a game or some shit. And Rin, who spent years hating his brother, suddenly having to work with him to beat the guy that stole his real big bro. Isagi and the other Blue Lock kids facing off against the kind of technical, possession-based football that's the complete opposite of everything they've been taught. This Spain game is going to be the ultimate test of Blue Lock's philosophy. Spain plays that tiki-taka style where individual ego is supposed to be subservient to team movement and possession. It's literally the antithesis of everything ego has been preaching. So when Japan faces them, it's going to be chaos versus control, individual brilliance versus collective intelligence. And here's where I think Japan's journey ends. Not because they're not good enough, but because Kaneshiro isn't stupid. Having Japan win the U-20 World Cup would be narratively premature. The whole point of Blue Lock is building toward the Senior World Cup, and having these kids win at U-20 level would remove all the tension from the main story. Instead, I think Japan's going to lose to Spain in a way that teaches them exactly what they need to work on. Maybe they'll dominate possession, but struggle to create clear chances. Maybe their individual egos will clash at crucial moments, costing them goals. Maybe they'll discover that pure ego isn't enough when facing a team with both technical excellence and tactical discipline. This loss is going to be devastating but necessary. It'll show the Blue Lock kids that they're on the right track, but they're not there yet. They need more development, more ego, more individual brilliance to compete with the absolute best in the world. It's going to be the kind of loss that motivates them to push even harder in preparation for the Senior World Cup. From a character development perspective, this tournament is going to be huge for everyone involved. Isagi's going to face the reality of what it means to be a striker at the highest level. Rin's going to have to deal with working alongside Sei while still harboring all that resentment. We also will see Sei's past and the reason what broke him. Nagi will probably also have a complete roller coaster ride where I am sure he will regain his original motivation, and the psychological pressure is going to be insane. These kids have been isolated in Blue Lock for months, developing their skills in a controlled environment. Now they're going to be playing in front of crowds, representing their country on the world stage. Some of them are going to thrive under that pressure, and others are going to crack. Japan's going to have to learn how to balance their individual talents with actual team tactics, and that's going to create some beautiful football and some ugly moments when egos clash. I mean, before that, everything was in the Neo-Egoist League, but now they're a team again, and this time Shidu is also on the team. What I'm most excited about is seeing how the Blue Lock philosophy holds up against different playing styles. Nigerian athleticism, English physicality, French technique, Spanish possession, each of these approaches represents a different challenge for Japan's ego-driven football. Some matchups will favor Blue Lock's style, and others will expose its weaknesses. The tournament structure also means we're going to get to see multiple elimination scenarios. Not every talented team is going to advance, which means we might see some shocking upsets. Maybe England gets knocked out by Nigeria in a group stage upset. Maybe a traditional powerhouse loses to a team playing pure Blue Lock style individual football. Maybe Muneyuki Kaneshiro will turn everything upside down and France will be eliminated in the group stage while Nigeria will win every single game. These tournaments always have surprises, and Kaneshiro's smart enough to use those surprises for dramatic effect. But ultimately, this U-20 World Cup serves a specific narrative purpose. It's the stepping stone to the real prize. Japan's not going to win this tournament for sure, but they're going to learn exactly what they need to do to win the Senior World Cup at the end of the series. Every loss, every tactical lesson, every moment of individual brilliance or failure is building toward that final goal. The beauty of this setup is that it gives Kaneshiro room to show both the strengths and limitations of Blue Lock's approach. So yeah, the U-20 World Cup is going to test everything we thought we knew about Blue Lock's philosophy, and I guarantee you some of our favorite characters are going to get humbled in the most spectacular ways possible. But that's what's going to make their eventual triumph at the senior level so much sweeter.